What's going on?
Hey everyone, welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Glory. It's Nicky here.
And it's Sam.
We are on episode 16.
Yeah, sweet 16.
Yes. Right before we get into our episode, we just want to shout out Rise. The Good, the Bad, and the Glory podcast is now a part of the Rise Podcast Network. So we want to shout out our listeners tuning in from the Rise Podcast app. We are so grateful to be a part of this community. Check them out and follow them at Rise Connected on Instagram. That's RYSE Connected on Instagram, and tune in. There's some great resources there. So thank you and shout out to Rise.
Ooh.
So here we are, Sweet 16.
Yeah. Very sweet 16. Not very sweet in the media and pop culture world, but we'll get into all of that.
We'll get there.
Let's talk about our weekends first before we get into all the nonsense that's going on right now.
Yes. How was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. It was very chill. My sister Jan, her father celebrated his 65th birthday.
Aww,
this past Saturday, so it was really dope. They had a nice little dinner for him. So that was really nice, celebrating him. After that, me and my wife went home because we were tired. Watched Girls Trip. Got to see the movie finally. Nice. I remember you brought it up, last time on the podcast.
Right.
I generally liked it. I liked them. I'm not gonna give out all the details. There were certain points that I felt was a little too much over the top. Like they were dragging certain things, and it's like, okay, you guys are being a little too ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And there was one key thing that happened at the end of the movie that I'm not going to spoil for nobody. Okay. But I felt like they shouldn't have put that in there. Okay. But with all of that even said, I felt like it didn't take away from like the general warmth and, girl power feeling from a guy's perspective anyway. Mm-hmm. I felt like it gave off that overall tone and overall I liked the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything else about your weekend?
No, church, the usual. Hung out with my mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Had a little dinner over there.
That's fun.
Yeah, played catchphrase, Uno.
Oh, the good games.
Good games, Had a good time over there.
Wow.
But other than that was pretty much my weekend.
Nice.
Yes. How about you? What'd you do?
I had a good weekend, and I don't know, for those of you who don't know, we're recording this on a Monday, and today we are off because it's Columbus Day. I don't celebrate Columbus
Columbo.
Day. But I am grateful for the day off. But my weekend was good. On Friday, I went to an Esperanza Spalding concert in Brooklyn, and it was an amazing experience. She's phenomenal. I will say this though. I love her and her music, and she's extremely talented. The venue that it was at didn't do justice to her as an artist. Like the acoustics in the space was terrible.
Really?
The sound was bad.
Yeah.
So she still sounded really good, but it didn't it didn't come through all the way.
What venue was this?
It was at a space called Pioneer Works in Brooklyn. The space is amazing. I love it. It's huge, but I think one whole or about, I would say 75% of the wall in the space is brick. I don't know if that has to do with the acoustics, but it just didn't flow. No, it was also really hot. It was just an interesting experience, but she was amazing. I enjoyed that, right?
Oh, nice. Sorry, you said this was Monday?
Friday,
gotcha.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was on Friday.
Oh, okay. Because Monday you went to a Solange concert, am I right?
Yeah, last Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just out here living my life,
out here.
y'all. Last Monday, I forgot about that. I went to a Solange concert at Radio City.
How was that?
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Solange is a true artist, and I admire her freedom. I admire her artistic eye, and just if you follow her on social media and stuff like that, even her set, it's very her set on social media, she talks about how she drew it out by hand and then they sort of made it come to life, and just seeing it in person and she brought out Verdine White from Earth, Wind and Fire to do a song on one of her songs called Bad Girls.
Oh, wow.
It was just such a good experience.
Wow.
I had a great time. Like that was like one of I would say it was a life-changing experience. You know, you go to those things. Yes, because it was, first of all, Solange's A Seat at the Table.
Still gotta listen to that album. Sorry, guys.
You're wildin'.
I still have not.
Okay, you're wildin'. So Solange's A Seat. We forgive you, Sam. We forgive you.
Thank you, guys.
It was the 1 year anniversary of the album coming out. When it did come out a year ago, it just was the voice of so many Black people for what was happening at the time. That was when a lot of like it's still happening. Like a lot of us were being killed by the hands of the police. Yeah. Just a lot was going on. And when it came out, it was just what we needed at that time. So, and it was what I needed at that time. And so that album has always been really special to me. And so just to be able to experience it live and, you know, just experiencing Solange's creativity and her artistry, it was amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, before we move on, I got to put you on the spot a little bit. Yes. Have you been to a Beyonce concert? Yes, I have. So who's better, Beyonce or God. Solange? How could you? I would say, okay. Maybe which concert experience was better? Beyonce's or Solange's? I enjoyed Solange's concert better. Wow. I did. Wow. You heard it here first, guys. Solange is better than Beyonce. They're different. I don't even feel like you can compare them. They're two very, very different artists. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. So that was Solange. What else did I do? I checked in with a few friends. I celebrated a birthday. Not my birthday, someone else's birthday. Yeah. Church, which was great. It was good. We're back in our series, No Perfect People Allowed. That was cool. And here we are. Podcast. Here we are today, Monday morning. In my sweatpants. Yes. Chilling. Yes. So what do we have going on today? Well, first and foremost, we wanted to bring up again just the Las Vegas shooting. Like we explained before the last episode, we recorded shortly before that. So we didn't really get to talk about it, express our thoughts about it. But it's pretty much been a week since Stephen Paddock opened fire on a crowd of over 20,000 people attending a concert, killing about 58 people. 59. 59? Mm-hmm. Wow. 59 people now, injuring hundreds. And I think they said he injured like over 500 people. Yeah. Like it's unreal. Still, to this day, we don't really have a clear motive on what caused this. ISIS tried to claim responsibility for it. Oh, really? As soon as it came out, like the day of, they were just like, this was us. Yeah, and sure. Investigations have led to nothing necessarily being connected to it. No one wants to admit that this was just a crazy white man. It's a man who went, literally. Yeah, and maybe people are scared to think, this dude went crazy and endangered the lives of over 20,000 people. But the Republicans are still fighting for their guns, though. They literally said they're taking back. I think it was called a blocker or whatever piece of the gun that you can attach to a gun and make it an automatic weapon. Yeah. They want to sort of put a ban on that, but they were like, "This is not the time to have a conversation about gun control. We need to be there." I'm like, "All right, y'all, man. Yeah, it's like to the point they're killing you guys too. Yeah. So there's no. Whatever. They love their guns. They love their guns. But you know what made me think, and I didn't really see this a lot. I thought a lot about mental health. And it's not the law or required, but people generally push once a year you should get a physical examination and things like that. That's the general recommendation. People make commercials about it, you should go get a checkup if you haven't been there in a year. Yada yada. It made me start thinking maybe we should do the same thing with mental health checkups. Of course, especially for people in politics, in leadership. I feel like if Donald Trump had to do a mental health checkup, he probably would have failed. Yeah. And so, I completely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. So once again, we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to the families, everyone who was just impacted from this act of terror, and just praying the best, stay safe out there, live life to the fullest. Absolutely. So yeah, we got a lot going on this week, right? So first off, I don't know if do you know Harvey Weinstein?
I did not hear of him or know of him until this weekend.
So Harvey Weinstein actually I didn't know about him until all of this came up.
You're right, yeah.
So Harvey Weinstein is an American film producer. And he owns a film studio, and he's behind a lot of very, very popular films. So it has come out recently that, he has been, over the past 30 years, he's had a history of, sexual assault and all kinds of allegations, from Meryl Streep to most recently, I believe her name is Ashley Judd. That is sort of accusing him or have come forth and say, I've had that same interaction with this man. Now, the kicker is his representative. Can you guess who his lawyer is?
Who could be his lawyer?
Who is his lawyer?
Who is this?
His lawyer is Lisa Bloom. For those of you who don't remember, she was Blac Chyna's lawyer. She was also the lawyer for the woman who came out and said with the Kevin Hart sex tape. Who else? I feel like she represented somebody else.
Usher? Did we bring up Usher?
She represented the woman who came forth and said that Usher gave her herpes.
Yeah.
So she sort of has been building her career on representing women who are sort of coming out with allegations of men who have harassed them or any type of thing like that.
Absolutely.
So this time, she is on the other side of things in that she's representing a man who's been accused of all of these sexual things, which is just really, really interesting to me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's when I heard that she was representing him, when you told me that, I was just like, wait, what?
Yep.
She's been out there on the forefront, she's standing up for these woman, especially with the Kevin Hart, that Kevin Hart situation. She was like, she is a victim in all of this.
Yeah.
Okay. And now here we go, turn around, and you are defending a man who has been repeatedly accused of taking advantage of women. And now I can't help but just look at everything you've done before in the past as an opportunistic move.
Absolutely.
On your part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. Especially, let's take this in steps, right? Because it also came out today that she has resigned from being his advisor in this whole thing, his legal counselor. But before she had resigned, she was on Good Morning America. And I just so happened to be watching Good Morning America while I was getting ready for work. And I'm just listening to her sort of make excuses for this man. And I was just like, this is all very strange. And she would say things like, I'm not defending him. He's come out and admitted to the fact that he's caused so much hurt to a lot of people. And she's been working with him for the last year. And, she's really seen a lot of changes and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, the very last question that they ask in the interview, they're like, so, Ms. Bloom, you're coming out with a book, aren't you? And she's like, yeah. Or no, actually, the book that she wrote is being turned into a movie. And the movie is being produced by this film producer.
Wow.
Mr. Weinstein.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. So I'm just like, okay. And then she quickly says, yes, his studio is producing the film of the book that I wrote. However, we are working on, rebuilding the relationships of the lives that he's, all of this.
Yeah.
She's trying to, make a circle around it. But I'm just like, really? So like you said, it just makes it very clear that this is all about fame and popularity for her, has nothing to do with anything. So, Lisa Bloom, we don't respect you, ma'am.
Yeah. No.
No.
We don't.
We don't. But yeah, so that is the Harvey Weinstein situation.
Yeah, and thankfully, since he was fired by his company.
His own company.
Yes.
Whatever that means. I'm sure he's still collecting money.
Of course. Absolutely. He's still well off.
Yeah.
But, at least some type of example may have been made.
Absolutely. What else is going on?
Oh, my goodness. We need to hold a prayer service for the NFL because they're not having... The NFL has been in so much turmoil. And let me just say this first and foremost. I don't watch the NFL. I'm not a football fan.
Right.
as far as my entertainment, it's not affecting me in any way. Mm-hmm. But it's just not a good look for the NFL at all. We got 2 stories coming up.
We do.
First off, we have Mr. Cam Newton.
Come through. All right, let's just talk about it.
You seem very ready to discuss this.
Let's hear what you think first.
What I think. All right. Yes. Well, so for those who don't know, at a press conference on Wednesday, Newton was asked a question by a sports reporter who happened to be a woman.
Yes. Okay.
And she was asking about pass routes. Okay. Now, I'm for the record, like I said, I'm not an NFL fan. I don't even know what that is. But her asking this question seemed to spark an interesting reaction out of Cam Newton.
Sure did.
And
oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay, go. Sorry.
And why don't you guys take a listen?
I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny. But fun is coming along, man.
So he said it's funny to hear a female talking about routes.
Yes.
Okay.
And yes. Then he did, but you have to see the video because then he does this chuckle. And
yeah,
it's like,
he has a laugh in there.
I can't. Okay.
All right. So Nicky asked me my thoughts on this. So this caused a huge reaction across sports and news media. So I saw the video of this, and as soon as he said what he said, you could just feel that gut check in the room, just like, ooh.
Right.
So there's 2 things about this to me that I felt was disrespectful. He used the word female. Now, I myself am guilty of using this word. I've been educated. Nicky here has been educating me on this word, using the word female and why it's offensive. And I have been, slowly coming to understand, all right, to remove that word out of my vocabulary. Because sometimes it just comes out naturally.
Right.
So even I heard him use the word female and I went, ooh, oh, no, Cam, no. And then here's the part about it. Because he was saying it was interesting to see a woman talk about this. To me, I felt like the more disrespectful part wasn't necessarily the fact that she was a woman, but the fact that she was a woman sports reporter. Don't you think she would know
it's her
what
job.
there is to know?
It's her job. Yep.
About football.
Yep.
As a reporter who's in the room talking to you, that just made it even more disrespectful. The fact that she's a woman reporter, oh, you probably don't know about this.
Her career in sports is probably longer than his. Like, she's probably been doing this for a longer period.
Probably.
Yeah, like...
Even if you're inciting the wrong kinds of feelings about that, right? Because then what are you trying to say about how she got her job? Like, you don't think you need to know certain things about football to be a sports reporter? The fact that she's in the room means you don't think she has the qualifications to be in there because she's a woman?
Man.
That was bad. So, Nicole, would be remiss if you didn't get your unadulterated thoughts.
Oh, wow. Really?
on this happening.
Listen, I watched the video and I cringed. I'm like, first of all, I just got annoyed. Instantly. I was just like, are you crazy? Like, sexism is a thing. Yeah. Right? Sexism is a thing. I think what bothered me, so he made the comment, then he answered the question. Him answering the question then tells me that you're now patronizing this woman. Like, you're just answering the question. You don't think it's worth it telling her what the true answer to the question is about the routes or whatever, blah, 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 because you don't think she knows as much as you about routes. That's one thing. The second thing that bothered me is on social media, like, so many people were saying, like, oh, it's not that serious. He meant it as a joke. Like, it's not that serious and blah, blah, blah. They are a part of the problem. Yeah. They are part of the problem because...
I agree with that. Like, for me, to me, the bigger issue is that he couldn't see past the fact that she was a woman. Mm-hmm. Like, she's a sports reporter. Like,
right. Man or woman.
Why would you think it's weird for her to be talking about just off the simple fact that she's a woman? Yes. Sometimes you don't see a lot of women talking about football in particular, but she's a sports reporter. Why can't you see her qualifications before the fact of anything else?
Well, I mean, the thing, when stuff like this happens, it's annoying, it's jarring, but that was what was in his heart. Like, that was
absolutely, yeah.
That was a knee-jerk reaction to what she said. The fact that a woman was asking you about a sports route or a football, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
In your heart, you already felt that inside.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't like, because then he came out with this very long apology talking about, I respect women. I have 2 daughters and blah, blah, blah. Sir, if that is how you truly felt, it wouldn't have came out so easily.
Right.
You're sorry because now we all have this reaction. He's lost his endorsements. He's losing money because of this now. And so you're sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're sorry that you're losing money. You're sorry that people are calling you on that. You're not sorry for what you said. Like, I mean, I understand that there are teachable moments. Like, maybe he did feel that way. Maybe he has learned. But saying that I didn't mean it that way, I respect all women, blah, blah, blah. No, you did mean it that way. Yeah. Say that you've learned now. Yeah. And that you realize that what you said was completely disrespectful, and that you're probably now learning to respect women. That's it. Don't say like, oh, I have daughters. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to. Let me just say this. Having daughters doesn't take away the fact that you can be sexist.
Absolutely.
Having daughters means that you had sex with someone and you got somebody pregnant.
Don't use the I have black friends excuse,
right.
Okay?
It's not, it doesn't mean anything. We would hope that because you have daughters, you would see women as valuable, as equal. But you having daughters means that you got somebody pregnant. It doesn't mean that you're smart, like you're smart enough to know these things. Right?
Absolutely.
So Cam Newton's apology didn't really mean anything to me. It meant that his publicist told him that he needs to make an apology.
Yeah.
It means that he lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I heard it, and you could tell that wasn't something that he wrote himself.
He was reading. It was, first of all, why was the camera so close to his face? I can't. It was just like, yeah, absolutely. Somebody wrote that for him. Yeah. But I honestly do hope that this experience causes him to think more about things like this.
Yeah, and even if not him, the general public, hopefully we could make steps into treating women with the respect and changing our mindsets on what we feel is the right respects towards women. Like, we can't be like, oh no, this is how y'all need to be respected because this is how I feel. Right. And we need to listen. We can't tell a group who may feel oppressed what's the way they how they should feel about how we act, or what we do. Yep. We need to understand, get to the history behind what makes someone feel the way they do, and just not do it, and learn and grow. That's it. And respect the other person.
Absolutely. So something else is happening in football.
Yes. Oh yeah. Man, this story ain't even 24 hours old yet. So that was just story number 1. This is story number 2. The Miami Dolphins offensive line coach, Chris Forster, has resigned after a video surfaced showing him snorting cocaine with a $20 bill.
That's funny.
Okay, y'all need to see this video, okay? Now, I compared this video to the Kevin Hart video. What? You know why? Just out of contrast. Not necessarily that they're the same. Mm-hmm. Like, the Kevin Hart video is dark. It's a little grainy. Maybe Kevin Hart could try to say, hey, that's not me. You don't even see my face. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This brother cannot deny anything about this video. Full on. He must have the iPhone 11. His face is so clear. Snorting this cocaine, sending it to a woman, saying, oh, I love you, I miss you, I can't wait till we get to do this together. Snorting the cocaine, like, oh, let me just do this real quick, I got a meeting to go to. Yeah. So the video was uploaded to Facebook by a model named, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Kijuana Nije. Okay. She claims to have previously dated him. So this was pretty much her Facebook post. I really don't do this often, but since it's NFL Sunday, let's talk about these coaches, folks. And she posted the video to her account saying, "Hey, honey, are you still high?"
Oh, dear God.
So after this video got passed around and everyone's talking about it, she writes, Monday morning, "The white people mad at me like I forced blow down this man's nose and like I recorded it on the low," she wrote. "No, those are his habits, and he recorded himself and sent it to me professing his love. So quick to make excuses for him, but will roast a minority player over an anthem, dog fights, weed, domestic issues, etc. But y'all keep saying all lives matter. STFU."
Okay.
Can't break down that on this podcast. Can't break down that last acronym. But, clearly this dude got caught out here in these streets. I believe he's married. He also said in the video he would like to do this act of snorting cocaine on a certain part of her body. So I'm sure his family would not like that. But this is just a bad look in general for anybody. A bad look for the NFL who, look, dare I say, this is some bad energy resulting in how y'all treating Colin Kaepernick. Not getting this man a job. Look at what y'all got to go through. Y'all losing more money.
Wow.
Doing all this. And shout out to Colin Kaepernick. I believe he was out in Harlem the other day doing more good work.
Wow. Yeah, he was. Yep. At a school.
But yeah, Nikki, your thoughts on...
I mean, he got fired, right? Did he get fired?
He resigned.
He resigned.
He wrote a note. He wrote a letter saying he resigned. He
so
needs
sorry.
help.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, like with this, there's nothing. I feel like what can he say? Like we are looking at your very face.
Your actual face.
Your very face snorting cocaine. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, so sad. I mean,
what you deserve, my brother.
Right, and I'm sure people are coming for her for releasing the video. I mean, I feel like if you're smoking or snorting cocaine, you're like a famous NFL coach, you probably shouldn't be sending that video to anybody. Like,
this woman ain't married to you,
right?
Like,
nobody.
What you think this is?
No. So I mean, that's all on him. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's going on. Football is going through right now.
Yeah.
Football is going through. Somebody else is going through.
Oh Lord.
We have a brand that is going through this week, and that brand is Dove.
Yes.
There was a Dove ad that was released where it was really it's like a GIF. Is it GIF or GIF?
I say GIF.
I say GIF too.
Yeah.
It was like a GIF, and it was literally like a 10-second clip of like 3 women. First a black woman, then a white woman, then another white woman taking off their shirts and what?
Apparently that woman's not, the second woman's not white.
What?
She's more either, people have been very questionable on the race of the third woman.
Okay.
But it seems like she's mixed with, like she's ethnic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what we know is that the first person is black.
Yes.
And the ad was when the black woman had on a brown shirt, and she took like off her shirt and she became the next woman, who I presumed was white.
Yes, absolutely.
And then
100%.
she took off her shirt, and then it became another different woman.
Yeah,
who was
like
white.
So the white woman had like a white shirt. Mm-hmm. Or like a very close to white shirt.
Yeah.
And the third woman had like a tan shirt.
Right.
I guess she was either Latino, Asian, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So here's my thing, right? So when I first saw the clip, I said, is that the entire commercial? Like, is that the whole thing?
Yeah, but the first thing I saw was the screen grab of
exactly
of the black woman
I just
turning into the white woman.
Yeah, that was like, this is a problem.
With the little Dove soap on in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I saw too, a screenshot.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I was outraged. But then I went and I did my research, and I saw the actual video, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
It was kind of like anticlimactic for me.
Very much so.
I when I saw the clip, I didn't think it was that serious, if I'm being honest. I didn't think it was that serious.
Uh-huh.
However, I understand the outrage.
Absolutely.
Just the whole notion. It's a soap commercial.
Yes.
A black woman in a soap commercial who takes off her shirt and becomes a white woman.
Yeah, I mean, if we stop right there, right?
Right.
A black woman You have the soap still
Right.
there. She lifts up her shirt. Whoop, I'm white now. Like, what exactly? Now, granted, that's not what they put out.
Right.
This is what a screen grab somebody else put out.
Yep.
But those optics right there,
Yes.
it looks very bad.
Yes. I mean, I even feel like if it was switched around, if the black woman was last.
Yeah, like,
it
what if that
wouldn't have-
happened? Yeah.
I don't think it would have been an issue.
Right.
Now, Dove issues an apology. And the reason why I'm sort of like, yes, there is an outrage, because I feel like Dove is one of those brands that tries to be very intentional about diversity, right?
Okay,
Body diversity, like racial diversity. You know, they have a lot of natural hair women in their commercials. They have like plus size women in their commercials. And so they are one of the brands who sort of have deemed themselves that.
Yeah.
However, it's always interesting to me when something like this happens, like even with Shea Moisture, because commercials don't happen in someone's living room.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's not
another
like
thing.
one person who's like, I have this idea,
Yeah.
and then tomorrow it's on TV. It's a set of meetings, their board meetings, their teams. There are a lot of people who are a part of that process. And for no one to really catch that, it's always interesting. Like how did that happen? How did that slip through the cracks?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm pretty much agreeing with everything you're saying. That's a huge thing. How did this slip through the cracks? If an ad has to go through so many people, and it could illuminate the fact that maybe there aren't a lot of diverse people in a boardroom. Like,
team,
people changing shirts and turning into different races. Everyone's gonna get what that means. Not quite. And like I said, when I first thought they released that picture on Facebook, like the ad was like this whole motion thing, but the ad they released was that screen grab that's going around. That's not the case.
Yeah.
But it also sparked like a kind of different question for me, because everybody immediately said this is racist. So I'm like, do we have to start maybe differentiating, being careful with our word choices when something like this comes out? Because there's like a racist, right?
Yep.
Like Charlottesville, a bunch of white men walking with tiki torches, exalting their whiteness. That's racist to me.
Okay.
I believe there's racist, and there could be racial ignorance.
Okay.
Both bad, right?
Okay.
Racial insensitivity. Both bad. Like first degree murder, second degree murder, premeditated. All murder is murder.
Right.
But there's different levels. I feel like we have to be careful before we label something as racist. Because when I think racist, I think KKK. Okay. I think someone being fired because they're black. I think someone being refused a seat at a restaurant because like what was happening in Houston over the weekend.
Yep.
I feel like that's racist. This, I don't think there was, in their minds they had, white people are better than black people. But I think they were very racially insensitive and racially ignorant. And that is also not okay in our culture. They need to be educated on that. I don't know if I can go racist.
To emphasize what part of the word racist. I don't know if I fully agree with you on that, but I completely understand where you're coming from. Like, it wasn't overt, no. But however, I think those underlying, underhanded forms of racism are sometimes the most dangerous. Like the ones that are not outright, because those are the subtle hints that sort of become ingrained in a person's psyche. And I saw someone say, yeah, these, this is how our little girls watch these commercials and they think blah, 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 blah. So some people may think that that's reaching, right? But I understand just the whole like colorism, racism. You know what? I did some research. I looked up like different Dove ads and things like that. Yeah. And Dove also they came out with like a brand of lotion.
Was that the before and after?
No.
One? Okay, yeah.
No, they have a brand of lotion
I know what you're talking about.
For normal to dark skin.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Normal to dark skin.
Yeah, To me, that right there, that's just like, all right, bro. What are you saying about dark skin? It's not normal.
My dark skin is very normal.
To me, that is a very racist mindset.
Yeah, and this is the same brand, and it's still being sold online and Walmart, all that. And so it just raises a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
Raises a lot of questions. And those, like I'm saying, like, although it's not overt, it's not the KKK, it's not a torch rally. These are the types of racism that exist in our society that sort of we almost accept every day. Like, it's just like, oh, whatever. I still use it, whatever, that kind of thing.
Right.
So for some people, it's worth fighting for. And for others, it's just like, they're bigger fish to fry. For me, this GIF commercial thing, I don't think it was intended.
Yeah.
But I do see the issue behind it.
Absolutely.
To me, it wasn't that big of a deal, but I see the issue.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I feel like I don't know how you don't see that why the order they chose and like, cause I'm not trying to go on conspiracy theory either, because I guess that would bring it more to the racist side. Like, let's have the black woman go first, because she's gonna turn into the white woman.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know that intention, but the optics, the visuals of that is not okay. And I think definitely it was a ad featuring women, definitely impacted. And I saw a lot of brothers commenting on it too, which was great. But I know definitely when it comes to beauty, stigmas in our society and stereotypes, it can definitely be impactful in that way. Like hearing lighter skin is beautiful than darker skin. We even hear that in the black community, unfortunately. So there needs to be an increased sensitivity to the plights of other races and cultures, especially black culture, because it seems like we have a hard time understanding that. Especially because America is a you could say a melting pot of a lot of races, and we just gotta do better. I literally can't grasp how they couldn't get how that could be taken a certain way. A black woman turning into a white woman.
Yeah, somebody dropped the ball.
Yeah,
somebody
absolutely.
So Dove, we're keeping you in prayer.
we got a lot of people keeping in prayer today.
So we have some new things developing in the business world. What's going on?
Yes, Netflix has increased their pricing by $1.
$1.
Y'all starting to remind me of the MTA for our New York listeners.
Right. No, but
all this starts with is a quarter here, a quarter there.
But the thing is, MTA raises its prices with no improvement in the service.
That is absolutely true.
Netflix, I'm here for you.
Yeah, Netflix, I'm still a subscriber. You know, I could dish out that $1.
Right.
You know, Nicky, you said before the cast, you know, it beats paying $70-something for a cable bill.
$70-something, $100.
Right, facts.
Oh, I'm okay with the $1 extra.
Right, but you know, we need to see where this $1's going to.
Right.
Okay.
Give me
I want my TV shows.
I need HBO
during the season.
Right.
All right.
I need live TV.
Live TV. We need to see where this $1's going to. All right.
Very true.
But you know, Netflix, we're keeping an eye on you. Don't go crazy on us.
I'm still here. I'm loyal.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm
still
loyal.
here for watching us. And for T-Mobile and Sprint customers, we may need to be on the lookout for a T-Mobile and Sprint merger.
I don't know how I feel about it.
It seems like plans are in the work and may be released by the end of this month that T-Mobile and Sprint may merge. Now, when it comes to mergers, they have to be approved. All right. Like, I believe the government could just come through and be like, nah, y'all can't do that. Like, don't even try that. They did that with T-Mobile and AT&T back in the day. They were trying to do that at a certain point, and they were just like, nah. and they stopped that. So T-Mobile and Sprint, just be on the lookout. We don't know what features you may lose, what features you may gain from that.
Yeah.
But that'll definitely be a big deal.
That is a big deal. I don't know how I feel about that. I've been a T-Mobile customer since 2003.
Oh, wow.
So that is...
loyalty.
Yeah. How many years is that?
I won't lie. I've been around the
14?
block a little bit.
Really?
T-Mobile, AT&T. Well, I believe there was something else before AT&T.
T-Mobile used to be, was it Virgin? Not Virgin Mobile. It used to be V-Stream or something with a V.
Yeah.
Hold on, what is it?
I checked out AT&T for a little bit, you know.
No.
So I saw how they was doing, and I came back to T-Mobile. Forgive me, T-Mobile.
Wait.
But
Oh yes, T-Mobile was voice stream. I remember
Voice
that.
stream.
I was, I came in after the voice stream era.
Gotcha.
But it's so funny.
Singular.
Really?
You remember Singular?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I was a Singular customer
Next
for a little
telephone
while.
with the singular chip driver. Remember that? You know that
No.
song?
I'm unaware of this song. No.
What?
Yeah.
Driver, don't stop at the drop the errors. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Back to T-Mobile. So T-Mobile used to be called voice stream. It's so funny. Whenever I have an issue with T-Mobile, I'm on the phone with them and I'm like, listen, I've been a customer with you for 14 years now.
Oh, they gotta give you everything. They need to pay your bill for a year.
Every time. They're like, okay, I was going to say Miss Dillon. All right. They're like, okay, Nicole, we'll give you whatever it is that you need. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to do that if AT&T's in the picture. So,
I was with you when you was, what was that joint? Voice Stream.
T-Mobile.
T-Sprint. I've been with you. Like, you know how they say like your grandfathered in certain deals? You probably
I'm grandfathered in.
Great.
I'm definitely grandfathered in. They can't change my plan.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So, that's what's happening in the business.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So we're gonna jump right into our glorious thought today, right?
Yes.
So, this should be interesting.
Absolutely.
So I watched The Real. I don't actually watch it on television. I watch it on YouTube. So sometimes I like it better on YouTube because I'm able to choose what I want to watch. Like I can watch clips as opposed to having to watch a whole episode. Anyway, so I was on YouTube watching The Real, and they had a clip of a show they recently did, and the name of the clip was "How Much Skin Is a Sin?" And I don't know if I would say 3-ish of the 4 hosts on The Real are Christians and profess Jesus openly.
Yeah.
So that's what the conversation was. Like, how much skin is too much going to church?
Yeah.
So that was the conversation. Let me ask you your thoughts. This is a conversation about quote unquote modesty.
Right.
And you know what you wear to church.
Yes.
And that whole thing.
thing.
What is your take on this?
Now let's all be honest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we're talking about modest attire, when it comes to the church,
Go ahead, say it.
99.8% of the time,
Thank you.
we are referring to women.
Always.
Absolutely, yeah.
Always.
All the time. So we're gonna touch on that first before we get into all genders.
Yeah.
Because why don't we look at the guys too? But anyway, before we go there, how much skin is a sin was their question.
Yeah.
Man, what are my thoughts on this? If I should say this, I do think that there can be an inappropriate way to dress to church.
Right.
Absolutely.
What is that?
What is that? Honestly, I personally believe it's a mixture of 2 things. One is your heart and your mindset behind what you are wearing to church. Okay?
Absolutely.
So if you're wearing what you're wearing to church because you are trying to attract a certain individual, church is not the best place for that. And what exactly are you trying to attract them to is another question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we've all grown up in different backgrounds. I happen to have grown up in a Pentecostal church, Caribbean Pentecostal church. So you couldn't enter into the church building as a woman with pants on.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So even if we're having choir practice, you had to wear a skirt to choir practice. To choir practice. What a lot of the girls would do when I was growing up, they would have their jeans, their jeans pants, and they would have their jeans skirt, and they would just put it over.
Amazing.
The jeans pants.
That's too much.
You know,
that's too much.
And God is totally cool. Like, you know, God has been cooled down. Like, God, I'm wearing my jeans skirt over my jeans pants.
Over
you know, we good.
Pants.
Women. Wow, this reminded me of something.
Okay.
So this was back and this anyway, we're back. This is back when I went to a Pentecostal church, and there was a girl, the first time she sang praise and worship with us. And she happened to do it on the stage with pants on.
Okay.
Slacks.
Okay.
You know, dress pants. And I didn't notice this at the time. I think towards the end of praise and worship, somebody came, you know, called her and told her that she had to come off the stage. You know, because of the, and later on I realized I didn't even notice the fact that she was wearing pants, to be honest. Like I didn't think of it as anything, but later come to realize that she was removed from the stage because she was indeed wearing pants, and that was not allowed in the church. You can't wear pants.
Crazy.
All that to say, I think it is okay for a woman to wear pants. Okay, I'll start there. All right, it's okay for a woman to wear pants. I do think that if I were to give certain physical boundaries, so to speak, I don't think you should be showing cleavage.
Okay.
I do not think that I should be able to see any of your. I don't think I should be able to see any of your undergarments, and I'm not even saying imprints. Okay. I'm saying like I should not be able to see like your bra. Or your panties.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm
gonna leave it up to you. I'm here to be educated
because I'm gonna challenge you a little bit because
yes.
You started out by saying that the conversation of modesty is always centered around women, and I think that happens sort of unconsciously.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Were you going to move
right?
on to?
And no, look, you caught me right there because I went straight to the women because
don't show your breasts, don't show your underwear.
All the examples, you know, growing up has always been directed toward the women,
right.
But dudes, fellas, we shouldn't be seeing your underwear too. All right, so if a dude is coming in the church and he's, you know, like a thug or whatever.
Okay.
And there's so many layers to this.
There's a lot.
There's so many layers. And you're showing your underwear. You shouldn't do that. But here's the thing. For both sexes too. If this is someone just coming in up off the street, coming to church, to me, all of that goes out the window, to be honest. This is a person that wants to find out about the Lord. You shouldn't be coming up to them. You don't know where they're at in their spiritual journey. You don't know what brought them into the church. You shouldn't be like, oh, let me just cover you up a little bit, sister. Let me fix you up a little bit, brother, because I remember there was a dude with dreads that wanted to get into a church and the church wouldn't allow him in because he had dreads on. So like we said, sometimes the modesty has been unfairly directed towards women. Even naturally during this podcast, I literally just made it about women when I said undergarments, I went to bras and panties. But yeah, those are my beginning thoughts. Nicole, let me let you handle that before I get crucified.
No. No, I think the first thing you said hit it on the head for me. I think that the modesty conversation is always about women. Always about women. And I think people use scripture to try to back up their own personal views about how women should dress when coming to church, or even just in the conversation of modesty. I think that a lot of times when we talk about modesty, people use that whole scripture. I think there are two main scriptures that people really bring up. The first one, 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. And it says, I also, and this is a New International Version, it says, I also want the women to dress modestly, with decency and propriety, adorning themselves, not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes. Right? That's verse 9. But what they don't read is verse 10, because there's a comma after clothes.
Yes.
Okay, so it says not with hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes. Verse 10 says, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Okay. So this verse is talking about not focusing on your outward appearance, but focusing on your spirit, your good deeds, your heart, the heart of the matter. So it's not saying don't wear whatever you want to church. It's talking about the heart, right?
Right, because if you want to take that scripture literally, right? That means what we should wear are the last things you said, right?
Good deeds,
what we should physically wear, so we should come to church naked.
No.
Right? Because you say not with gold, all this stuff, but with, plain dresses and with, he didn't say that.
Right.
He was clearly talking about what your mindset should be when you're dressing, what you should esteem yourself by.
Your intention.
Not with your physical appearance.
Absolutely.
But by Christ-like qualities.
Right. Absolutely. And I think the next scripture that people use is the whole don't cause your brothers to stumble. If you eat meat and if it offends someone, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I think that the people use that scripture to completely cause women to bear the weight of men not being able to control themselves. Like, son, let's talk about lust. Let's actually talk about lust.
Let's get in there.
Let's not make women be the brunt of every man's issue with women's bodies. I also think that we hypersexualize women's bodies because every man is different. Like some men may stumble off a girl who has really, really big boobs or a really, really big butt.
Absolutely.
And some men like really slim. Like, it's just people. Okay. Like, it's not just, modesty is not a conversation about women.
Yeah.
Right. There are issues that exist that we sort of overlook, and then we say, let's talk about modesty. I think self-control is an issue. I think lust is an issue. I think there's so many. Yeah, I think for me, those are the two main things. And
to your point about it usually being about women, because I've heard certain conversations by some females. If a speaker is wearing really tight pants, they see some things as well. If a dude's wearing a really tight shirt, they see some things as well.
I've gone to church and I've been to churches where men's pants are so tight that it's just like, maybe you could have went one size up. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or like, just it's an all around conversation. But I think overall, I would say that modesty is really about intention.
Absolutely. It's less about the clothing. It's what your intention, because to your statement, you're not responsible for somebody else's sin. But if you're going in with the mindset, let me go with the dude. Right. Yo, I want these ladies to see what I'm packing down there.
Right.
I think you're going in with the mindset to cause somebody to stumble for your own personal gain.
Absolutely.
Like, I want them to see what I'm wearing. I want them to think about, what the Lord has blessed me with. Like, you want them to have lustful thoughts about you.
Right.
Vice versa. If you're a woman and you're like, oh, I want, this dude to, see what I'm working with.
Yep.
Like, your body is what you were born with. Like, it's not a sin for you to have big boobs. Right. It's not a sin for you to have a big butt. And we should not blame anybody.
Criminalize women for having some women or men. I'm going to speak for women because I'm a woman. Some women, it doesn't matter what you put on. Like, the joint doesn't go away, right? And so, like, now what? Exactly. She's not going to come to church?
Exactly.
So I think one of the things that Tamara, she's one of the hosts on The Real, she said that it's more important to her to see, for that person to just be in church as opposed to what they're wearing.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the bigger issue. That's what matters more. I've literally been to churches where, let's say there was a christening or like it was a special something like Easter or something like that. And, people bring their family members or they bring their friends, people who don't usually come to church or not really used to the quote unquote culture of church. And I've literally seen ushers come up to visitors the first time they came to church and give them like a shawl to wrap around their waist, or like, oh, put this jacket on. It makes me cringe because it just makes it, first of all, it alienates them and it makes them feel like they don't belong here.
It's like a scarlet letter. Like, you're sitting down in this huge crowd of people.
You don't fit in.
And you feel like eyes are on you now and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I feel like this conversation is not the first conversation to have with anybody coming into your church. The first thing coming to them is about their physical appearance.
Right.
Number one, the Bible says, rend your hearts, not your garments. So let's have that mindset first, right? Mm-hmm. God is clearly focused on the heart first,
right? Not
what these people are wearing,
right?
And who can know the heart but God?
Right.
Anyway, that's also in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paraphrasing. Mm-hmm. So why are you so concerned with first what someone is wearing as opposed to, man, does this person know Jesus?
Right.
Man, I really hope they receive from the man. I hope they come back to our church again.
Right.
Now I hope they come back to this church with some better clothes on. Like, no, like that should definitely not be our mindset. And we lose the fact that all this other stuff that comes with sanctification will come later.
Yeah.
Will come later.
Yep.
And it's the
comes at
Holy
different
Spirit's
times.
job.
Yep.
So many times we want to be the Holy Spirit. We want to be the Holy Spirit
We so bad.
much. Yo, we just
Yes.
jocking the Holy Spirit. Like, yo, it ain't. Anyway, if that's what you're concerned with, if all you can see is the appearance, that already shows that you don't have a Christ-like mindset in you. And you can't even think about how this could affect someone or how you could be a blockage to someone receiving the Lord.
So we said that it's about intention, and I know there were people who would play devil's advocate or like and say, okay, well, what if some people have good intentions, but they just don't have a good gauge of what's appropriate to wear to church and blah blah blah. Is it their job to correct someone? Like what? Then what?
This can come to a bigger thing with just correction in general. Like correcting somebody, when you correct somebody, I feel like that shouldn't be the only conversation you have with somebody.
Right.
Like all you're doing is correcting them. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It should be someone who is at a place maybe to talk to them. Maybe it'd be better heard from a girlfriend. Like, hey girl, and this person loves you. I feel like if everything is done with a spirit of love, even if someone could be offended, possibly they'll at least know in the back of their mind, hey, this person loves me. And all they're seeing is not, what I'm wearing or just my physical appearance. This person loves me. This person cares about me. So yeah, like if maybe someone doesn't have bad intentions, but they came to church. No, I'm not going to do that. A dude came to church with like a well-built man came to church with a see-through t-shirt, like a netted
the nips
t-shirt. Yeah, exactly. And you can see that. And maybe he really loves the Lord and this is his favorite t-shirt and he was just feeling real comfortable that day and it's hot outside. A brother who's friends with it, like, yo, man, like, I know you, man. I know you're not trying to be out here, making these women lust after your pecs. But, that might not be the right thing to wear to like a church service. It might be a little distracting.
Okay.
Or something like that. I feel like in that case, I think that's something right. But if the only thing you're trying to do is be the police of the church and it goes beyond modesty, you see them just outward appearance, outward actions. It's like, oh, you this is not for the church. And you should you should look like this and all that stuff. It's clearly coming out of a Pharisee mindset as opposed to a Christ-like mindset. Absolutely.
And I'm speaking for myself. When I go to church, I wear whatever I know makes me feel free, so that I can do whatever I want. Right. If I want to jump, if I want to raise my arms, if I want to spin around like a fairy, I can do whatever I want without thinking about what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So I think not moral of the story, but I think it comes down to, like you said, intention.
Yeah.
And relationships. And I say relationships.
Relationships. Yes,
relationships,
absolutely.
Meaning like, don't only talk to me when you want to tell me that my jeans are too tight. That's it. Like, you don't even know my name.
Right.
So don't come up to me and tell me my jeans are too tight.
Right.
Right. Because you don't care about me. You care about telling me what's right and wrong.
Absolutely. And hierarchy of importance.
Yeah. What about my heart?
Yeah.
What about my heart?
Is this person a visitor? Is this person new? Does this person even say? Does this person know Jesus? All these questions should come in your mind before.
How am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What if there was a fire in my house and this pair of jeans was the last thing that I had?
Exactly.
And you're coming to me and am I going to come back to your church?
Get to know the person first.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Let me just let you know. I'm going to put it out there. Like,
absolutely.
So yeah.
And I think my number one moral too as well was if I ever talk about this topic again, I'm only using dudes.
Thank you.
Because I think it needs to be done. I'm only using fellas.
God bless you.
Yes.
Be the change you want to see.
Exactly.
It's not all our fault.
I'm gonna think about some stuff I wear. I'm gotta hide some of this chocolate goodness.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Okay. Okay. That brings us to the end of our show. No, yeah. So as always, stay connected to us. Shoot us an email at goodbadglory@gmail.com. If there's something that you want to hear us talk about, if you want us to address something in particular, go ahead and shoot us an email at goodbadglory@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at goodbadglory. And you can also now subscribe to our podcast as well as others on the Rise app. That's RYSE. You can also follow us on Facebook at The Good, The Bad, and The Glory. Where can they find you, Sam?
You guys can find me at Oh My Lord, OHMILORD. That's on Instagram and Twitter and wherever else that username happens to pop up. I'm usually the one behind there. And you could also find me on Snapchat, Proverbs Boy, PROVERBSBOY. Follow me. I like to make new friends.
Awesome. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NICKITY_. Again, that's NICKITY_.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening, tuning in. Shout out again to our new Rise family. And remember, no matter what we talk about, whether it's good or bad, it's all for the glory. Woo! See you guys next week.